Welcome to Happy Hour, a Scripts Gone Wild spinoff where we sit down with the folks who do our reads and have a drink or two, shoot the shit, and see whatever happens. With us today is Mr. Samuel Davis. Sam? Welcome.
Hey, I'm here.
Where are you at right now exactly, state-wise?
California. Yeah,
Oh, you're in California. For some reason, I thought you were in Texas.
I was in Texas, Billy, so you would be right to think that.
Okay.
I was there for, it was so funny. I was there for a full month, and it was like March 18th that I left, and I was like, they were either going to shut down the airports or they were going to grocery stores were crazy. So I was like, do I fill the fridge or do I buy $100 plane ticket home? And I did that. So.
Do you regret that decision or are you happy with it?
I think that was the smartest thing I did. Like, just not even like for the whole pandemic, but just in life, There's very rare that you get to make the right, you make the right decision. And I feel like I made that. So it felt good.
I wanted to go home and visit my family too, but I kept thinking, like, do I really want to be in Alabama if shit gets really bad?
Oh, okay.
And I was like, no, I'm just going to stay away.
Yeah. There's people there for that. So,
yeah.
Oh.
Texas is a little more, civilized than Alabama.
There's like, it was cool because there were, I don't know, there was space there. I could go out, I could go on a trail and, not be like, all the trails weren't blocked off and some stuff was, but for the most part, everyone was social distancing, but also being pretty wary and cautious about it all. So, but yeah, they're civilized over there too. So it was a safe place.
So the alcohol that you chose for today, you gave me two options, neither of which I could get. So I'm just drinking a fucking Shiner Bock.
Okay, good. Oh, well, see, I wish I got Shiner Bock. Shiner Bock is a good Texas beer.
That was the
I know
intent behind getting it.
At my Ralph's, this is a negative ad towards Ralph's.
Oh,
no, they They didn't have Shiner Bock at mine.
Well,
I didn't see it. I would have gotten it if I could have.
Well, cheers, sir.
Cheers, sir. I'm drinking St. Archer IPA.
That's a good one too.
Local.
Oh, there we go.
It tastes good to be tasting a different beer from one another at the same time.
Yeah, that is. And I haven't had Shiner Bock in ages.
Are you in California?
Yes. I'm in Silver Lake.
Okay. Man, I almost moved to Silver Lake.
It's where it's at. It's where it's at.
The opportunity was in front of me, and I hopped on it. I've just been trying to do better about just making stronger decisions faster, and I got it so right with going back to Austin thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I will take that open room in Silver Lake. And then they were like, hey, actually, never mind. The girlfriend's moving in. It's like, ooh.
So where are you at in LA right now?
Sherman Oaks.
Sherman Oaks.
It's good. It's good.
I lived in NoHo for 4 years, so I understand the valley.
I just wonder have you heard about any of your favorite gems that are closing?
There are a lot of places closing on this side of LA, or on this side of town for sure.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite coffee shops shut down.
Which one?
That's Vita.
Oh, yes. Oh,
yeah.
Darn.
Looks like they're selling that whole building. So, yeah, I think a lot's going to be gone. I think there's going to be a lot of, especially restaurants. I think there are a lot of restaurants are going to go under.
Yeah. Dark Room is one of my favorite spots, right there on Melrose.
Yeah.
Groundlings. Apparently that place is done, which just stinks, see it turn into a real commercial real estate office, so you're kind of like, oh, darn, it was more fun before.
Well, you realize too, just how so many of these restaurants and businesses seem to be, they were hanging on by the skin of their teeth already.
Right.
And then this came along and it was just like, fuck you.
Yeah. It hit the health risk and if you're a business, the financially risk.
I wonder I'm curious how the improv groups are going to fare.
Yeah. That's something that's kind of odd is that, in New York, apparently the UCB in New York, is closed.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, could you just imagine that? Like if you're coming here, I mean, I guess if you're IO West in LA, but if you're like, you know, just being at your theater and it's like, oh, that's my thing, that's my thing, that's my thing. And then you're just like, oh, now it's a pizza shop. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a tough
I'm not
time
even hungry.
It's a tough time for like that for stand-ups too. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Nah, gosh. Well, fortunately, I don't know. Have you ever done the stand-up thing? I did it for a little while, and I wasn't A, good, or B, like, I don't know. I like being around like 5 or 6 people at a time. Anytime I'm doing something.
So do you prefer like improv or sketch?
I say sketch.
Yeah.
I like sketch, but I do love that you don't really have to prepare for anything for an improv show. Just kind of show up and hopefully you have a good gel with your people, you know?
Yeah.
But then sketch, there's something to sketch because it's like, hey, yo, I wrote this, I costumed it, I wigged it. They all rehearse their lines and we have light cues and sound cues. And like, so the level of like what people are expecting is a little bit more, but also I think you're getting a little bit more out of it too.
It's like theater light.
Theater light, man. Theater light. It's okay if it's bad because you know what? It's not okay if it's bad, but it's like it's just okay as long as it's funny.
Yeah,
that's what matters.
What are you doing to stay sane during all this?
Yeah,
if you even are.
Oh yeah. I made a backdrop for you.
Yes,
I mean this is how I wake up every day. I'm just my life is very organized. It's just the map of California on lockdown. I got that in Austin. I'm probably going to keep it.
Yeah. So we don't forget.
Don't forget.
Nope.
And this is a bandana. And, you know.
Just represent.
Yeah, just to represent. And then I took the cloth from, also I've been making my own shirts from your flags.
Oh.
Yeah, your flag back there. So
thank you for noticing my patriotism.
Yeah. So thanks for the you know the cloth to make this.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It does look like it, doesn't it?
It does very much look like it. Mine's a really cheap flag. It's made out of like polymer or some sort of weird nylon. I don't even know. It's not a quality flag.
It seems like it'd be great for a public school.
It would be great for a public school, and I'm going to say something right now that's pretty blasphemous. It has touched the ground.
Oh, you know what? I think, you know what? Sometimes we fall down on the ground, and yet are we not more valuable than a flag?
Yeah, but technically you're supposed to burn it.
Yeah, so I'll come over there later.
Light it on fire.
It must be done! But listen, no, really, I mean, it's just a matter of, I was talking about this today with a friend, you got to just like make mini goals for yourself. Yeah. And just kind of like, I'm big about like checking it off the list, you know? So like right now it's just, there was something that I wanted to write before I started doing a show last year, and then I was like, well, I can't write this now. So now I have that time. And so I'm doing that. And then I'm just like, trying to exercise like a little bit each day. Yeah. I've been cooking. Billy Ray, have you been cooking?
Oh, I cook nonstop.
I love cooking. So I've been doing that. And I kind of rearranged my apartment. But really, I think that the reason why I'm still pretty sane is because going to Texas beforehand, I was out on my family's ranch. And we were just like working goats and sheep and cows. And then, you know, like morning coffee and stuff. It was good.
Morning coffee at 5 a.m.
Yeah, on a porch. So it was good. It was really good. How about you?
Does your family have screen doors?
We do, yes. Oh, in addition to other types of doors, we have screen doors.
Perfect. I'm just staying as busy as humanly possible. That's my ticket to not going insane. Is if I can find something to keep me occupied, I do it.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm including helping friends, and you've always been a good friend.
I do what I can.
He
usually
good
drunk.
Friend, people.
Usually drunk.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about how I met you, and you were directing a Beast of Burden in the Fringe play, Fringe Festival, and I remember you were very welcoming to me. You, Leah Lamar, and the whole cast were always very cool to me. I remember seeing the show, And then Leah told me that one day you had to fill in for one of the roles. I remember I was looking forward because I had the rest of the day off, but then I was like, oh, I've got to see Billy Ray like act in his own writing, and I got to see him like jump in the day of a play. Because how often do you have? I have nightmares about that, and it's always a live play that it's like you're about to go on and you don't know any of the lines, and it's just kind of that shuffling beforehand. And so I had to see you do it.
It was terrifying.
And you did a great job.
Thank you. It was terrifying, but I'm glad that I was able to step in and we didn't have to cancel the goddamn show.
Well, fortunately, you wrote the thing, so you knew more about it. But
it helps. Usually by like Tech Week, I know every word of the script anyway, so
yeah,
it's not as big of a to do as I might have made it seem at the time.
Well, I made a big to do of it in my mind, so I was so excited for you, man. But you got a good actor here, guys. You got a good actor here.
Hey, I'm available.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah. Jesus Lord. When are we going to start doing? When are people going to start doing like just start filming everything on Zoom?
I think it's it started happening last week.
I guess so. I mean, I saw the Parks and Rec thing on Zoom. That was fun.
So I did not see that. I think that's on YouTube. I need to do that. But yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with that. It must be like, I don't know when. I wonder when productions will actually begin. You know, so that's.
I'm guessing not till next year.
Oh man,
that'd be something.
Yeah. Do you have anything in the can that you're editing or working on?
Not in the. I mean, I've got a ton of scripts that I'm working on, but other than that, it's just I've been focusing pretty much just on Scripts Gone Wild this whole time. We've been trying to, we're doing reads every week, and then we're doing these things, and then we're doing like getting our 501c3 status, and like,
oh wow,
so lots of stuff kind of moving with that, and that's become a full-time job. So,
well, and I just even think about like my friends that are doing sketch shows and improv shows. It's like they're having to wait until until the phase 4 happens. So who knows when that will be. So it's everyone's unknown, but it is weird though, how I have gotten into a little bit of a routine with this current situation and stuff. So what have you found to be a good routine?
Oh man, I my whole day is a routine. I get up at the same time every day.
Yeah.
I make my coffee, I make my breakfast. I have my like regimented. I'm a pretty regimented person schedule wise. So like I know from like 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, I'm checking emails. From 10 to 11, I'm on the website. From 11 to 12, I'm doing this. So I thrive on a regiment.
Good for you. Yeah. I try to make it like school, like, hey, don't forget you have PE from 10 to 11, Hey, reading class is 11 to noon. Then after I eat, I'm tired, so I try to get a nap in.
Oh man, I wish I could nap. I'm not.
It's my favorite class.
I just can't nap effectively. Like I will lay there for an hour and not doze off once and be like, well, that was a nap.
Good for. I think that's all you need. Is just like a little bit of. I've been meditating every day.
Oh.
Yes.
That's fancy.
Well, I'll have to include my Headspace link because we can get it all for free right now.
That's a good thing.
The people at Headspace are being so nice to us, giving us free meditation guides for a year. I'm just acting like I'm putting in a plug, but I'm not.
This is my meditation.
Oh yes. He has Okay, Billy. This isn't even I'm introducing a new segment on your show.
Okay, introduce away.
Okay. Give me your top 3 recs, meaning a book, a movie, and a TV show.
Okay. Well, TV show is easy. Last Dance on ESPN.
All right.
The MJ doc is super amazing.
Oof.
10-part doc series, great. If you're a basketball fan, and even if you're not a basketball fan, everybody loves Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Great. So that's TV. Film-wise, I would recommend. Oh boy, you know what? I'm going to recommend the movie that everybody's already seen, but I watched it again recently. It holds up remarkably well. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Whoa! When did you see that recently?
2 days ago. First time I'd
Okay.
seen it since like 2004. And man, it's great. It really
Yeah.
holds up. Book wise, I'm going to recommend a book which I just reread. Actually, you know what? No, I'll recommend a book that I just read for the first time called The Saturday Night Ghost Club.
Saturday Night Ghost Club.
Yeah, it's a cool little book. It's very Stranger Things-y if you're into that kind of thing. And it's an easy read, short read, very nostalgic, sort of a throwback 80s thing. Very cool.
Oh, good for
Now,
you.
now it's your turn.
Oh, okay. All right, movie. Some that I've just like been watching. I've been watching it on repeat. I'm repeating it. The Cable Guy.
Cable Guy's a great movie.
Cable Guy.
Both of our movies have Jim
Jim
Carrey in them.
Carrey.
He's the king of quarantine. The quarantine.
He is. He really is. And then I had actually bought the movie a while ago on iTunes, and I just noticed there was all these special features attached to it. And so I was watching them like rehearse and like all this kind of stuff with like Ben Stiller with like a little like one of these cameras like rehearsing it, and I'm like, glued to it. The Cable Guy wasn't well received, but it has even a bigger wave of people following it after.
Yeah, it's hard now. Anytime anybody watches that film, they generally enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's like they're like allowed to enjoy it,
So that's a movie. What's your TV rec?
Okay. The Great on Hulu.
Haven't started it yet.
I'm a fan. I think that I'm a fan because I went to Versailles. I know it's set in Russia, but I got to see like some of those like palaces and of the Victorian era a few years ago, and I just love the of course just like the production design of it and everything. And it's the same Tony McNamara, the guy that did The Favorite, or he wrote The Favorite, I believe. Yeah. And so he's doing this, and I'm like, oh hell yeah! So I'm about it.
So I'm assuming you've seen Marie Antoinette.
Yes. I like that.
That's a gorgeous movie.
I like that ending, man. Where they hear everyone coming in, it's just like, oh,
yep.
And then, okay, book. Mark Cuban's The Sport of Business.
I'm okay with that choice. I'm a big Shark Tank fan. So.
Oh, really?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, what is it? I found a free little, not free, but like a masterclass. I got a masterclass, and I've been watching just a few different ones. And like Sarah Blakely, who's the lady that created Spanx, is I was just like awed by her. And then I was kind of researching about her, saw like Shark Tank stuff, and I always see Mark Cuban on the news, and I was like, all right, what's Mark Cuban got to say on the topic? So it's pretty good just for anyone, just little anecdotes. They're more like journals than it is a book, but that's my rec.
No, that's good. Yeah, Mark Cuban's generally got interesting stuff to say. He's a pretty he's done well for himself, that gentleman.
Yes. He's a wise man.
So I'm curious now that we're sitting here drinking beer, and I got into this discussion with folks on my last happy hour too, and I'm curious, what is your best and worst drinking memory?
Okay. Are they allowed to be the same?
Sure, that's interesting.
My worst might be a week ago.
Oh.
I was over at my buddy's place and just, like had way too much. I lifted back, and it was too much too soon, like I've had a couple Zoom calls to where I was like, we were playing like code names, and we were playing and everything, and then we were playing for 4 or 5 hours, literally just like this, and then I look over, and it's like my apartment is completely dark, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm alone in my apartment, but I'm like with all these people. But I'm gonna jump back to my favorite memory over at UT. I was oh man, I have a few good ones. But okay, no. The first time I got drunk, not there. We must go down to South America, which is even further down. I was with my older brother and my dad and my grandpa and my dad, and they let my brother and I just go off to have dinner by ourselves. And man, I had some of their like a light lager down there, a little beer, kind of like this Incan kind of alcohol beer, and I had maybe too many of those, and that was the first time I ever got drunk, and I was with my brother. It's a very good memory.
That does sound like a good memory. If you're gonna,
I was walking really fast. Afterwards, and my brother was like, "Yeah, dude, that happens." I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" So I'd say that.
So that's good. That memory is brought to you by the Incans.
Yes, so thank you, Incas. Yes, and it's sponsored by the Incas. Visit Machu Picchu. Dang, dude, we're hitting so many advertisements in this thing, man.
I think that's okay. I wonder if I can flash some like links on the screen, and we can just link to the Wikipedia page for the Incans.
Yeah, just so everyone knows.
For the Machu Picchu Tourism Board.
Yeah. I think they're accepting tourist requests now. They're open.
Wow, I think
they're open.
We're the only state that's not open.
I know. It's see, your hat resembles a time of different times.
Yep. I like to remind people that there were at one point, even though I am not a Republican, that there were at one point Republicans who weren't awful. Or at least not as awful.
Hey, it's I think we conform to the times that we are set in, so who knows?
The worst thing anybody ever said about Dan Clell was an idiot, so.
Oh man, well, let's see here. I'm trying to think if I have a worse one, because
surely you've got a worst one.
I mean, that was pretty good. I don't know. I always try to be pretty careful with it. Oh, dude, I just worst one. I remember one time in college, I just definitely had way too much, and one of these older classmen drove me back to my dorm. It was great, but I was I remember my buddy Doug was walking me. I started walking to this one dormitory, and mine was on the complete other side. I remember just having to do this complete 180 to go this other way, but that wasn't that bad. The hangovers are what sucks, because when you're drinking, it's fun, but it's the next day that's the worst.
Yeah, hangovers. If it wasn't for hangovers, I'd be drunk all the time.
Yeah, and I'm never drinking again.
I say that weekly.
Yeah, what are yours? I'm so curious. You probably have you will definitely inspire a better story for me.
I'll give the condensed version of my worst because I just went into it on the last episode. But
okay.
Suffice to say, it involved a party in college, me passing out, my friends leaving me stealing a car and driving it to the Piggly Wiggly parking lot, and then driving home.
Oh my gosh.
That would have been the worst.
But the Piggly Wiggly, it's kind of softens the blow.
It does. In terms of the best, I think my best drinking experience would have been in London. We went to London in college as well for about a month total. And just every drinking experience there was a great drinking experience.
Do you have any absinthe?
I've not had absinthe in London. I have had absinthe here. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that I've had any good experiences on absinthe. Of course, I was usually mixing it with cocaine.
Oh, well, okay, yeah.
So,
well, it's before my brother and I and a couple friends, we went on a Euro trip. I remember we watched Euro Trip, and how they portray absinthe on that is just that as if it's which I guess I didn't have enough.
Well, no, you've just got to have the pure distilled essence of absinthe.
Okay.
Which is hard to find. It's impossible to find in the States. But if you can find that will fuck you up. I've never had it either, so I don't know what that's like. I guess it would be like finding Quaaludes from the 1970s.
Oh.
I guess it'd be akin to that possibly. There are going to be people watching this who are going to be like, that's not how Quaaludes work.
That's not at all how it was.
Yeah. I'm on Quaaludes now.
They're my Quaaludes. I want them now.
I do sometimes wish that I could go back to the 70s and experience Quaaludes the way they were meant to be experienced.
Okay, well, what if you were to be transported to a different time location.
Ooh. When would it be?
Yeah, and also just so you know, right now I have in front of me, I have my IPA, water, and coffee.
That's a great combination. I only have the water and the beer. I don't have the coffee.
I just taken my nap.
How about this? I drink decaf.
Good. Okay, good.
I drink decaf.
Good.
So if I could go back to any decade, I would go back to the 1950s.
I'm saying time period of the world.
I still think the 1950s.
In LA?
Well, actually, you know what? No. You know, I think maybe I would go back to like London in the 1880s, maybe something like that.
Kind of see if you could run into Sweeney Todd, or
Well, just kind of to see London before it got bombed to shit. Back when it was like just old and historical and gorgeous and smelly and dirty and.
Sheesh. That would be a different time. One of my favorite movies is Midsummer Night's. No, not Midsummer Night's Dream. Midnight in Paris.
Yeah.
And of course that's Paris, but it's like I love the idea of visiting these people in their habitat, especially like at their time. And so that's really cool. I wonder if you would make any special pit stops, any people there.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I would certainly want to see if I could find Jack the Ripper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that would be fun. Just go on a hunt.
I just don't want to hunt.
Yeah, just try to find his ass.
Yeah.
Like, what's up?
Why'd you do that?
Or why are you still doing this?
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you a work question now.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Are you ready?
Yep.
We're bringing out the big guns. So when did you start acting?
In high school, or are you talking about like when I like started like doing films and stuff?
Anything.
Okay.
Even if it was like Oliver when you were 5.
Okay. Well, I remember like my grandma. No, not my grandma. It was my cousin's grandma, who wasn't my grandma. It was on his side or whatever. She was like my teacher in first grade, and we were doing like this bee play.
Uh-huh.
And I was a bee, and I remember I had really good notes on something we could change. They were going to present the queen, and remember it was Mrs. Tanner. I love her. She's related to me. She was like, "Samuel, you're not the director, and when you are, it'll be a comedy." So I was like, "Okay." And then fast forward, during middle school, I was doing band. I wanted to do theater, but then finally in high school, I started doing theater. I dropped doing football and stuff in like sophomore year and started doing like the plays.
Yeah.
And everything like that. And dropping football in Texas was, it's
kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I talked to the coach, and he was like, you sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I want to just do theater. And he was like, okay. It was going to be who brought the God card up first, I think would win. And so I was like, and I've been praying about it. And I think that's what God wants me to do. And so he was like,
As long as you get there first, there's no return for it.
I actually prayed about it before. And so,
God wants me to do theater.
Yeah. So,
Sorry.
And then college was just like, did some student films, which led to like short films that were made outside of the school at UT Austin, and then I started doing acting in films locally there.
Yeah.
So like the directors there, like they have a few known directors that live there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did what was the first like, holy shit, I can't believe I booked this, or I can't believe I got this?
Yeah, it was probably like the first time I got like a lead in a feature. Yeah. Which was it was like this movie called Abel's Field. Uh-huh. It's like a faith-based film, but Kevin Sorbo was going to be the lead opposite me, and so I was like, whoa. So like immediately going from like student films to like a film with an actual like budget, and it was union, was pretty awesome. Just to like, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, Hercules, yeah, that's cool. And then like then you're like shooting a film with him, and you're like golfing with him and like missing class, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I like acting. But I would say that.
How do you go from a faith-based film with Kevin Sorbo to Cabin Fever?
Oh yeah. Well, cleverly is how you do it.
Oh,
well, because then being in Austin, it kind of led to sometimes some local or some out of town directors would come in to shoot like in some of the various locations. Like Eduardo Sanchez, the Blair Witch Project guy, came in to do Exists.
Yeah.
And I was in that. Oh, wait, that was one of my biggest moments. That was really fun. And then, so that was like a really well received. It won the Midnighters Award at South by Southwest.
yeah.
Robert Rodriguez was filming a lot, so I got to do a couple of his projects, and then that kind of opens you up more for like doing things that maybe a little bit edgier. And so whenever Roth was doing Cabin Fever, like Travis Zaruni, the director, and I just kind of hit it off. So
yeah. I'm curious. I actually just, and this was unrelated to this, I'd forgotten that you were in Exists. And I watched
really?
it like a week ago.
You did?
Yeah, I'd seen it already. I saw it at the Vista Theater. They did a screening there when it first came out.
Oh,
the Vista. And I saw it there, and I remember Eduardo being there.
I was at that screening for sure.
Okay, yeah. And so I saw it there, and I hadn't seen it since, and I was just looking for something to watch, and I was like, I had just done a podcast where we had talked about found footage films, and I was like, oh, I'll watch Exist. I haven't seen it in a while. And then I was like 5 minutes in or even less than that, I was like, oh, shit, that's right. Sam's in there. Okay. It's a really good little found footage film.
I love it. Yeah, it's fun.
It's really well done. Like the creature stuff is great. It's like, yeah. I really thought I think it holds up really well.
Dude, Brian Steele was the guy playing Bigfoot, and he's just huge, man. And just like, that was probably my just one of my most fun experiences, because I was still at UT when I was doing that. And it was just like, just being able to hang out with like Eduardo and Mark Kordesky, who had done like Lord of the Rings before that and stuff. I was just like, and that was more like an LA crowd that was there doing that. So then that's when I kind of got to like see a little bit more like what that whole culture kind of was, and their point of view on things.
Yeah. I am curious about. Did you watch Cabin Fever? Had you seen the film before the first film, the original?
I had seen it like years before that, when a couple years after it came out. And then before I went out there, I did watch it. I did watch it with my buddy. Yeah.
I remember when that film came out, and I was like, it was so interesting to me that they were remaking a movie that was only like a few years old.
Yeah. That
was such a weird thing to me. I was like, and then I remember seeing it when it came out. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, they're both good. Like they're both good.
Thank you.
Like they're both good. Like I was still curious as to why anybody would remake it, but I was like, they're both good.
No, I'm glad they did.
Yeah, sure. So what did you do with Last Flag Flying?
I was just a voiceover in
That's it?
Yeah.
You didn't have like some big wonderful scene that they cut out?
No, but I thought about lying to people and telling them that I did, but then I was like,
That you had a really touching scene with Steve Carell, and then
dude, there was this huge like weird pilot scene where it was like me with him, and like Lawrence Fishburne's like, you did good, and Bryan Cranston looks at me and he's just like, we all did good, but then they cut it.
And
you'll have to believe me.
You should start telling that story.
All right, yeah, I will.
Put it on your IMDb trivia.
Did you know? I just imagine every time I see like IMDb trivia, I just want like some gossipy person just top it. Did you know that he was actually supposed to play this role? That just walks away.
I'm curious. Do you find it's easier to be an actor in Texas or LA?
Easier probably in Texas.
Yeah.
It's a I think it's the perfect place to kind of, or at least in Austin, is to because it's a smaller market, but I was really fortunate. I found it. I got there a little bit after they stopped shooting Friday Night Lights. you know, so I was like, ah, darn it. And like the line game was up, and I was like not really like knowing what I was doing. I was still doing student films. Didn't really break in, but it's a good place to kind of get your first kind of credits going for sure, you know. And but then also like a lot now, like, you know, with tax incentives, they are trying to cast more of the bigger roles there. So that's kind of what is you know, sometimes an advantage is it's like, I think if you're like a pretty good actor, then, or, you know, I say actor is actress, actor.
Yeah.
If you're pretty good, then you will probably like pop out and probably get a really good opportunity if you're in a smaller market. But it just kept happening, Billy, right? Where it was just like, then they would just fly in someone from LA, or they get someone from LA. And I was like, golly. And then I've even been in LA and gone back to Texas, and then they still flew someone out from LA, and it's just like, golly. So
yeah.
But as far as if it's easier, I think it is easier to get some like your first credits. I think that is for sure, and which I think is kind of like the most important thing, right? Is like at least getting your foot in the door.
Sure.
And like getting credits.
Yeah. How is Austin doing right now? I mean, I go to Austin a couple times a year. We've hung out in Austin.
We've hung out in Austin.
And how's it doing during all this? I mean, I hear about stuff shutting down. It's like, I know like the video store finally shut down there.
Vulcan, yeah.
Yeah, and then I heard about some other place. It was like I think it was a lounge or something that shut down as well. And it was like I feel like everything I hear about coming from Austin right now is sad.
Yeah. Well, they did open up a few things. Like I know that I believe that gyms are semi-open right now, the like quarter capacity.
Yeah.
My parents live north of Round Rock area.
Yeah.
And everything there is for the most part pretty open. Everyone's still social distancing and wearing masks, I hear. But as far as I do wonder what like closing will be like, you know. So a lot of my friends I see them like on like the Lake Travis and stuff. Like they're still not necessarily going into work, but it's pretty lax, I think, as far as work goes. Yeah. But I think that like as far as like safety stuff goes, like they're being okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of my best friends lives out there, and he's just like you know, just everyone is being pretty good about staying put. So yeah, who knows what the actuality is. Everyone's different, man. It's like I'll hop on Instagram and like, oh, this is what this crowd's doing with it. Oh, this is what this crowd's doing with it. I see.
Yeah, we've got our own little quarantine pod here with a few of us, and you know, we're pretty diligent. I mean, I go out to exercise every day. I go to the grocery store once every couple of weeks. Other than that, I really don't leave my place.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's driving me a little insane, but in the long run, we'll see how it pays off.
Yeah.
God willing. Yeah. So I'm gonna close with a question that I close with everybody.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes me special.
That's true. I'll ask it in a different way, though. I'll ask it in a different way, though.
Okay. Yeah.
Out of every project you've done, what's the project you wish more people knew about?
Can I plug a future project?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, for projects that have been made, I wish people like, I wish Exists got a little bit more love. Just it is so much fun. So check out Exists. And as far as what my friends are, my buddy Alex Scheinman is, you know, a hilarious producer and writer, much like yourself, and director. And he, you know, just kind of bit the bullet and made his first feature film. I'd been in a couple of his shorts before, and he made his first feature film called Cafe Americano. It's got, you know, just a lot of my just crazy talented friends in it. And it's basically about a director, a young delusional director who thinks he's just like the next Scorsese. So he better so he's documenting it. And it's mockumentary. And it's got some a nice little band of misfits making this very, very important artsy film. So it's something to check out. That's what I will say.
I like mockumentaries very much.
Gosh,
So,
I'm just I'm just so excited. Like I'm just so excited for him because I've seen it all through all the stages of, hey, I'm thinking about writing a script. Hey, I wrote it. Hey, I'm financing it. You want to be in it? It's like, oh, so you've really gotten to see, it's a big like nod to Alex Scheinman and really just all young directors that are just like trying to like take their stab at it. And we finished like a week or two before this, so it's like one of the last movies made.
That's a good thing. It's hard to get reshoots right now.
Yeah, it's hard to get the gang back together. Yeah. So I would say Cafe Americano, man. That's who knows what festivals will look like after this, but I just really feel confident about what everyone did, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be really good.
Awesome. Well,
we got an Instagram star in it.
Which Instagram star?
Chandler Taslitz is her name. Oh boy.
I wouldn't know the name of Instagram stars if.
Oh boy. Oh man. We got NBC's upcoming Crazy for You, Nick Cafaro in it. Oh boy.
Wow.
It's gonna be funny. Like I said, everyone's really good, and it's just like I was watching. I only came upon the Wet Hot American Summer David Wayne train.
Oh man, it's amazing. The series is out of this world good.
I had a lot to catch up on. I was loving it. But like how he put all of his friends in that, like a lot, I think it was mainly like a Philadelphia kind of like crowd that everyone kind of knew each other from, I think, or like an East Coast crowd. And that's just exactly what my buddy Scheinman did with this. And so we're just, it's cool to see him doing it, and just to be a little part of it is rad.
I'd say that was a good plug.
Oh, dude, I'm plugging here, man. Dude, ABP, man. Always be plugging.
Always be plugging.
Always be plugging.
Well, Sam, thanks for chatting with us today.
Of course.
It's nice to know you're here in California and not still in Texas. So,
yes.
Hey.
We'll have to do a distance walk around the reservoir.
Anytime. I do those daily. So.
Do you really?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Absolutely.
I went on a 10-mile walk with my friends the other day, and I got really sunburnt.
That happens.
But it started around the reservoir, and I think that's where I got it.
Hey, anytime you let me know.
All right.
Hell yeah. Well, cheers to you, sir.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank you so much. And
cheers to Shiner Bock.
Absolutely. Well, let me do my plugs. For the for the upcoming Scripts Gone Wild stuff. Like an idiot, I didn't plug. So I think after this airs, the next read will be My Girl on the 3rd, which you're in. And then on the 10th, we've got Flight of the Navigator. And, you can check out the website, scriptsgonewild.com. Check us on social at Scripts Gone Wild. And patreon.com/Scripts Gone Wild if you want to support Scripts Gone Wild. That's all she wrote.
You should be supporting.
You should be. Give us a final line.
Support Scripts Gone Wild.
God, that's a great fucking closing line.